This only stands occasionally. So it stands sometimes, sometimes it doesn't. A lot of you are going to have a hard time. You see, so it falls over. So we have to make a stand for it. Remember the technique that I taught you to make a perfect circle? You're going to get a poster board and you just got to make a few holes in it for your pencil to go through. How big should the stand be? I don't know. That's up to you guys. You guys need to start making some decisions. So this is going to keep it still. And then with this one, we're going to make the circle. The bigger the stand, the more stable this will be. So I am going to go ahead and make it pretty big just to make sure that it doesn't fall over. So I'm going to cut that out. You also want to trace this out. So we're going to cover that up. And so in this video we're going to make the wick, we're going to make the stand. And since you're making the stand, and we will probably be doing that for future projects as well, you don't have to worry about all that weight that I put in the previous video, so don't concern yourself with that. But I do think this could stand on its own if I wanted it to. So this will make our lives a bit easier. The top there, you could always cut it a little bigger and then you trim it. You can trim it once it's actually on. So I'll cut those things out, I'll be right back. Okay, so I cut out those two pieces and I trimmed down the top piece so it fits perfectly in there. You should do the same. Now what I'm gonna do is we're gonna clean this up a bit so it's a bit more presentable as a stand. I want you to take your tape and you are going to wrap your tape up all along the edge of your stand. So all along here. Just flatten that down. I want you to do that all the way around. Once you do that, I want you to trace that circle twice. Cut that out. Once that's cut out, you're going to take one side and you're going to glue it here. You're going to take the other one and you're going to glue it on the other side, and that should make for a somewhat decent stand. So I put the top on. It's not glued in there. It needs a hole for the wick anyways, so you can just go ahead and make a hole. Try to get it as centered as possible with your pencil. That's not going to be wide enough, so we're going to have to widen that a bit. Move your pencil around to widen that, or extend it with your pencil as well until maybe you can get a finger through there, but don't put a finger through there. You're going to get a paper cut. So let me find something to widen this, but really I think that something like this might work, just pushing it out with the pencil. I'll be back. I'll tell you how to do that. So you can start it with a pencil, get a pair of scissors, even if it's not this big, and that should help you widen it quite a bit for our wick. And I'm going to show you how to make the wick right now. and then we'll see how big that actually has to be before we put it in there. Alright, it's time to start making the wick. You're going to take 3 sheets of paper and you're going to crumble them like this. So you want to twist it. And we're going to tape it. Get it as tight as you can. So now you're going to start taping it. Diagonally would work best, so you can cover the whole thing. Try to get it somewhat tight. And you're going to do that 2 more times for a total of 3. The edges that you have here that are not taped, just cut them off. Go ahead and get yourself 2 more of those. Okay, once you have 3, it's time to cut them down. Don't cut them too small because this is going to be your wick. Later you could cut it more if you have to. Go ahead and cut them to a reasonable length. You're going to take the 3 ends and you're going to glue them all together. Okay? So get that glue on top and inside and just glue the 3 together. Alright, once you have that glued together, and this might come undone, but whatever, you want to start twisting this. So you want to twist it so it looks like a rope, an intertwined rope. Okay? And once you have that done, you want to go ahead and glue the sides again because they're going to come apart. Paper's too strong. But this time, carefully, you kind of want to run along some of the edges here and glue them together as well. Be careful not to burn yourself, but we just need that added strength to hold it together. You need to hold it until it dries, okay? Because if you let it go, it's gonna unwind. And I think it's holding a little bit, so I'm gonna take advantage. And now, in these gaps, you want to start putting some glue so when you tighten it again, it holds a bit more. And just hold it until it holds. Again, you're gonna have to do this back and forth until you get it to hold. And that is what I'm going to do off camera. If the hot glue starts bulging a little bit, you could always go back and kind of shape it with the tip of the hot glue gun. Remember that. So I'm going to finish that off camera, do it again and again. So you see it's holding somewhat now on its own. I still have some gaps, so I'm going to keep going into those gaps and covering them up, tightening it back up so it holds. I moved the glue away. If you have a low temp glue gun, you could attempt that. If you have a high temp glue gun, don't. You might burn yourself really bad. So, you know, be mindful of that. I'm almost done. I'll finish it off camera. Okay, so it's finally at a place where it holds still. Now, the purpose of this is for it to look like intertwined rope, and I think it does that pretty well. So now I'm just going to cut off the ends. You need a good pair of scissors for this, and that's just so you get a clean looking edge there. You could keep it the way it is. That's up to you. It's up to your aesthetic, what you think looks best. And I'm just going to seal the top. You only need to do that to one end, whatever end is going to be the top of your because this is going to go through here, and the back, hopefully we can just fold it and the back can go glued to the side of this thing. But now we know how much we have to open this hole up, and we still have to open it up quite a bit more, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. So I've opened up the hole, and now I'm just pushing it through to get that wick in there. Since I put so much glue, it's a bit gunky, but that's fine. I think I have a solution for that later. Decide how long you want this to be. Of course, push it in that far. Actually measure it on your little creation here, and I think that's too long. That's up to your aesthetic, okay? So you just need to get it to the length that you're happy with. And try to make sure that the rough side of the top here is on the bottom. If not, just get rid of the extra pieces and you should be okay. Let's check out that length. I like that. I'm gonna make it a little shorter, and then I will glue it in there and seal up all the edge with hot glue. So now that I'm satisfied with this length, I had thought about folding it over, but obviously this is too big, but that's fine. I'm gonna leave it just like that. The weight shouldn't make too much of a difference because since we're adding the stand. And maybe I'm gonna push it in just a little bit more. There. So now once you get to something that you're happy with, go ahead and seal the edges. And glue this one inside. So you need to cut this just right, and I'm just going to place glue all along the edge. Not that that's going to do it immediately. And now I'm just going to shove it in there, and I'm going to push it in there. Remember, it's cardboard, so it could be a little flexible. And take a look all around the edge. Take away the extra hot glue. Once it's dry, again, be careful not to burn yourself. And I'm going to try to push that back a bit. Now, I'm going to try to seal this edge with some hot glue. And with the hot glue gun right along the edge, you can push that down. We're trying a little bit of a different technique this time around, so I'm gonna ask you to try this technique with me. If you want to use some of the older ones you've already learned, then you could go ahead and paper mache this and paper mache this. But like I said, I'm gonna try something new. This is what I'm gonna try to teach you guys every lesson, is just something new. So there's that. Now we're going to take our base, right? And if your base is like mine and some of these edges are still standing up a bit, you could go ahead and just put a little hot glue in there, and so they get pushed down right along the edge. You could use hot glue to do the inside, but you're gonna have to do piece by piece, or you could just take a regular pure glue like I did and apply it and just lay it down, and then go along the edge with a hot glue gun to seal that. So I'm gonna do that, and then I'm gonna glue the sculpture onto the base. So I've gone ahead and flattened it all. Now it is time to glue this guy on. I don't want it too dead center. I think if you want it dead center, that's fine. When it tends to fall, it falls to the right side, so you want the larger space to be that space. But I think with a base this big, it is irrelevant. Of course, you don't want to put it over here because it might still fall. So you want to either do it center or you want to make sure that the largest area is the direction it's falling in. All right. So I'm just gonna try to glue this on with hot glue, and if this doesn't work, then I might have to. I don't see why this wouldn't work. We're gonna find out right now. And just hold it until it dries. And you could avoid all of this by just putting it onto the eggs as well. And let's go ahead and take a look. And yeah, it stands wonderfully. I don't see this falling unless if the glue here gets weak. You could go ahead and reinforce that bond by getting into the gaps here. And in time that connection might deteriorate and it might fall, but I think you have a long time before that happens. So now I'm gonna add the eyes, and then this guy will be ready for paint. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the eyes. For the eyes, you could use poster board, but take a look at your reference. Let's go look at how the eyes are shaped first. Okay, let's take a look at the reference. So you can see that the eyes have kind of like an oval shape. They're also textured, but I'm not going to ask you to texture it. There's ways we can do it, but it just seems more trouble than it's worth for the effect, and at the same time eyes don't bulge, so I think if you leave it flat it should be fine. So that's what we're gonna do, and it will have a little texture because you are going to use poster board, and even if you use regular paper, it'll still have some texture. You want to have the bomb close to you. Let's take a look at that reference again, because we want to know how big to make the eyes compared to the body. You see, they're not that big compared to the body, right? So you don't want to do half the size of the body. If you want to change it up, like if you want to make it bigger, that's fine. You want to make it smaller, that's fine. So don't worry about that, and maybe that's a way to add your own little special touch to it. So here I have my sculpture, and I'm just going to measure with my pencil more or less, right? The end of the pencil at one end and my finger at the other, more or less the size that I think might be okay for the eyes. And I'm kind of leaning towards it being this big. So I'm just going to make that line and make that line and take that measurement again. So the eyes that I create are going to be more or less that big, and I'm going to make one, sample it, and then I will trace it. Actually, I'll trace it twice because the trace one will be a little bit bigger, and then I'll use that for my eyes. I may cover it in tape, and then I might use it for my eyes. Let's see. So these are the first ones. I experimented with something a little bit bigger, and that was too big, so then I finally settled on these as the ones that I will use. You experiment with different sizes until you find something that works for you. I've also thought maybe it's best to put them on at the end. Maybe not, but I thought if I put them on now, when I start to paint it, I'm gonna have to paint over it. But that's fine. I think I am gonna put it on now, just with some hot glue, and then we're gonna start getting this ready for paint, and I'm gonna show you what we're gonna do for that. So I'm gonna go ahead and just hot glue these eyes on. So I put the eyes on, and that looks great, and it's got plenty of texture. There's a little bit of a gap coming through, so like we've been doing for this whole project for the most part, just go ahead and seal that gap with hot glue. And that is going to give you all of the texture that you need, that we saw in the photo reference. And just once that's dry, go ahead and pat that down with the tip of the hot glue gun. Do that to both sides to make sure that that's smooth right there along the edge. Now that the basic structure is done, instead of paper macheing, we're going to apply a solid layer of pure glue, not diluted. It might work diluted, but I haven't tried it. I kind of experimented with this last year and it seemed to work okay, at least for, you know, a while. So if you paint this right now, all of the areas that we've sealed with the hot glue, they're not going to take paint very well. So that's why we're going to put that one solid layer of glue and all of those little nooks and crannies, including the wick and the feet even. You see I didn't paper mache the feet, so I've never done that before. So I'm going to put that solid layer of glue, and then I'm going to try and paint that. Let's see how that turns out. If it doesn't turn out well, which I think it will, I think it'll be acceptable, then you could always paper mache over it and then paint it that way. So that's what I'm gonna do right now. I'm gonna get my solid glue, and again, I'm using wood glue just because I don't have Elmer's glue at home, but Elmer's glue should work as well. And I'm just gonna start giving this just one solid layer of glue all over the place, especially in the areas that have been sealed with hot glue, because hot glue, it's plastic, so if you go to paint it, the paint will just peel off, and it's still probably gonna peel off. Like the one that I did last year, like a year later, now it's starting to peel off, but you just touch it up and it should, you know, it should be okay for like another year presumably. And this is just to teach you guys a different technique, and it is a bit of a time saver. So I'm gonna do that, and once that layer dries completely, then I'm gonna start painting it. So as you can see, in all those areas that I just discussed, I'm laying it on rather thickly, just to give me the best chance for this to work, especially in the areas where there is the hot glue. Like I said, I didn't bother going too much over the sphere because it's paper mache, so we know that that's going to take paint well. As you lay it on like this, you have to hold it for a while because you're going to get drops of glue, just to make sure that they don't start, you know, falling. So once it gets a little bit stiffer, it'll hold, and you let it dry. And once it's dry, I'll come back and it's time for paint. And actually, we're going to go ahead and do a quick painting video next time. So that'll be it for this video. And I'm really happy with this project. It's great.